Article 3, Section 2, Clause 1. The judicial power shall extend to all cases in law and equity arising under this Constitution, the laws of the United States, and treaties made or which shall be made. So treaties made or which shall be made. And the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations is an international treaty. So this is a treaty from back then that they were saying which shall be made. Right? It's made now. It's pretty much enforced, but only by those that are familiar with this level of activity. Right? Jurisprudence. So laws of the United States and treaties made or which shall be made under their authority to all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls, to all cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction. So again, treaties made or which shall be made. What is it that we hear freedmen talking about as far as the jurisdiction of the court? That it's admiralty maritime jurisdiction. So the Supreme Court is supposed to have the authority, right? The judicial power shall extend to all cases in law and equity arising under this Constitution, the laws of the United States, the treaties made or which shall be made under their authority, to all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls, to all cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction, to controversies to which the United States shall be a party, to controversies between two or more states, between a state and citizens of another state, between citizens of different states, between citizens of the same state claiming lands under grants of different states, and between a state or the citizens thereof and the foreign state citizens or subjects. Clause 2. In all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls, and those in which a state shall be a party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction. So this is why the pattern south of the border, when Moors go to court, or Moors have some situation, they go to court, right? When they enforce something called federal question, right? Don't check this.
Yeah.
Federal question, right? When the Moors enforce something called a federal question, either it's getting dismissed or it has to go to a higher court. That's the only two options, right? There's no options like what we deal with. Well, we're gonna just kick you out of court ex parte, and like none of that stuff happens. It's dismissed, period. And come back to the same situation with the consuls. Everybody knows by now, I hope, about Sprague Benz nationalizing reggae singing, right? Okay, so he's a Moorish national, right? He's gone to court with members of the temple, right? Like the temple head going with him to court and his stuff getting dismissed. Already. No having to jump through hoops and no having to, do whatever it is that you have to do. It's just automatic that in all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers and consuls, and those in which a state shall be a party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction. On top of that, in all other cases before mentioned, the Supreme Court shall have appellate jurisdiction, both as to law and fact, with such exemptions and under such regulations as Congress shall make. The trial of all crimes, except in cases of impeachment, shall be by jury. So there's no juries in any courts when we go to them, which is a constitutional violation, which they can be held liable. Because all cases, Like trial of, if this is the supreme law of the land, or if this is coming from the supreme law of the land, and clause 3 says that the trial of all crimes shall be by jury, then the first thing we have to demand is the jury trial. Where's the jury?
So when we make these demands or these claims to them, and they want to do the ex parte, or they don't want to acknowledge anything that we're saying, where do we go from there? Or is that where the council and the temple and the body politic is supposed to step in and be able to back that individual? Because where are we going wrong? Right?
Where
The High Court, Supreme Court?
well, it's
How do we invoke or enforce that federal question and make them
Oh, I see.
recognize it? Or why haven't we done that before?
well, majority of the problem is that these courts that we're saying are courts are
Not
really
courts.
administration
Yes.
buildings.
Yes, I
So
know.
they don't even have.
We know
We
that.
know.
Oh, they can't.
Some of them know that.
Yeah, I'm just breaking it down for
Yeah.
other people who
Okay.
might not be, you know what I mean, be there, right? Where,
I'm there
Where
too.
we're
man.
at,
I'm in that
right?
category too.
right?
So
Go ahead.
I'm really asking, like, we know, and we're doing what we're supposed to do. They know, and they're putting up the front. Where do we go from there? Like, okay, so
What-
the next
well-
is the suits.
right? One is to keep going in there and keep putting stuff on the record, just so that it could go on the record, and we can build up a paper trail that we've been telling these people that we're Moors and that we have birthrights and that we have, you know, we have supreme jurisdiction. They don't have any, etc., etc. Right? One, we're doing that just to create a paper trail, and then two, we should be suing
So
as an individual because of whatever happened to us individually, and from the consul's perspective as a body, because anything that happens to you happens to me, because we're all L's and B's. So whoever something happened to, everybody else that's a member should be on that suit with them. So if there's 20 of us that's been to the same court and we dealt with the same judge and the same prosecutor and they're running the same racket, then all those people have to get hit up with a lawsuit. And not because, you know, not because they're doing something bad and we're right and whatever, but because when your rights have been deprived, whether it's your right to a nationality or your right to walk on the street or whatever right that you choose to exercise as a national, when that's violated, the only way that you can get that right back is a suit. That's the only way that you can get the right back. You got the federal.
Hold on, question before
Yeah.
you read that anything. So like okay, when you were saying a little earlier, when you're talking about, which is absolutely true when you're saying if we're the national, we're the authority and the government, then why should we have to take our paperwork and certain documents to get it authenticated or whatnot by
No, the
them?
woman told you.
Right? But if we don't, they're all, with their seal and whatever on it, they're still trying to say it's not
Right.
real or whatnot, right?
Exactly.
So
Right.
and so without it, it will be even worse, right? And then we are under occupation. So what are we supposed to do? We are under occupation. We don't have any say in our government.
We don't have say in. It's a catch-22 because they also don't have say in the government because it's a republic and they're saying it's a democracy.
But they're the ones who are in the seat of power. or
Yeah,
in
they are,
in
but-
like presenting,
Yeah, they're presenting that they're in the seat of power, but
and then
they're not.
everybody else believes it. So
And
then
everybody else, well,
they are
everybody-
then.
But is it
everybody's
tolerable?
going with it.
But
Like,
the
as
only
far as
other
the
thing
people,
too-
as
the
far
only
as the
other thing
other
too is
people.
once you're locked up, as an example, possession is 9/10 the law, right? At that point, in terms of being
See,
able.
one of, like, okay, like you brought up, occupation, right? They've been occupying since 1492 over here. So don't think that, you know, like if we went to Europe and occupied till since 1492. Okay, we went to Europe and occupied from 711 to 1492, right? And give them everything that they want for them to be whoever they, you know, do whatever they want to do, make them feel comfortable, make them have a life or whatever, right? Why is it that they kicked us out? If we gave them so much stuff, why did they kick us out? Why did they try to remove us
Take over.
from Europe? When, just like Sister Raz was saying, if you go check all the crests, if you go check all the crests,
And
all of them
airplanes.
have Moors on them,
And airplanes too.
right? And airplanes.
It's not just that, it's deep, it's so deep, it's deeper than that. It's so deep that the corruption and destruction they've done to our people and us and our mental and physical beings of who we are, that we're fighting something that we don't need to fight. We
Yeah,
don't need to
beyond-
confuse ourselves. All we need to know is understand the law, AGMO law, common
When
law.
they're finished with it.
Right, because if but he's right with what we're saying. It's we're coming into this information after, you know, 600 years of occupation. We're just getting into this now. This is now becoming something routine for us to study the law and have a law dictionary. Look up, you know what I mean? Like, this is new. The majority of us, right? When the Prophet came in 1913 and told us to do that. Now, the reason why I would, regardless of what type of abuse that we get, the reason why I can say, okay, you know what, I'll still stay on this because of the abuse, because I talk to Moors and stuff gets dismissed. So it's not far off what we're talking about. I seen brothers with Moorish plates like myself driving, traveling, whatever you want to call it, in a motor vehicle, in a conveyance, whatever, doesn't matter. They're exercising their right to do that. And they're not getting bothered by anybody. Right? So it's I guess a immediate counterattack for us is sue them.
Sue them. Everybody sue them.
Just sue them. Like, what's the most that could happen? They're gonna come with a counterclaim to say your suit is fraud. That's not, your suit's not legit. So, you know, we're not even, you know, that's not a legit suit. I find cool. Then it's not legit. Right? But we can't not sue them. Like, that's like not suing them isn't an option.
Everybody sue them.
Because the only way that you're gonna regain, because everybody says, you know, like we have rights to certain stuff, right? Everybody said that their stuff was stolen by the enemy. They were, in order to regain anything, you have to sue. Whatever it is, if you're gonna regain it, you have to sue. That's the only option to get back what was taken or what was lost or what was stolen. Yeah, it's gonna take work. We need a Moorish suit think tank where there's just these 8 Moors and all they do is they go to the law library down at UFT or whatever, and they just go there and they just talk to lawyers all day and they just find out everything that they have to know, and then they compile it in books and whatever, and then bring it back to everybody else so everybody knows how it's supposed to run.
And it's all in.
'Cause that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's what the Law Society of Canada is.
Yeah.
It's a think tank,
Yeah.
right? Where all they do is they just study the law all day, every day,
Right.
right?
Since everything they've done is an indictable offense, that means it's automatically going to high court. Because it's all indictable. And we know what indictable means, right?